Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English summary, just in a translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamaruzzaman Sahab Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Friday, the 15th of Rabi'ul Awwal 1443, corresponding with the English date 22nd of October 2021. This Majlis took place before the Jumu'ah Salat at Jami Masjid in Baleshwar, Surat, Gujarat, India. Hazrat Wala starts off by quoting the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Ittaqillaha haythuma kunta." Fear Allah wherever you may be. Friends, elders, and dear ones, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a spiritual doctor that came to the ummah. He was sent in this manner. Now Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran Majid, وَذَرُوا ظَاهِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَبَاطِنَ, that abandon external sins and the internal ones as well. From this we learn that there are two categories, external and internal. I never heard this or kalam on this before. For the first time I heard it was from Maulana Abrahul Haq Sahab. And then he went on to explain what are the batini sins that we should abandon. It is that of hasad and jealousy, pride, greed, etc. Now, there are many external illnesses that we can actually relate to, and doctors will tell us about that. And there are internal sicknesses as well. So Allah Ta'ala has made bayan of this, His Nabi as well, and the Mashayikh continue to speak about this till today. On one occasion, Hazrat Mohammad Sahab quoted the ayat of the Quran, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي. Say, if you love Allah, then follow me. And then he went on to say, Yani fi sunani zahirati wal batina. I actually mean that follow me, the tafsir, follow me in the sunnats, the apparent ones and the internal ones, the external and the internal. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and made all this alive which had become completely dead. There was no talk, no understanding about these type of things. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought this type of ulum and knowledge, alerted and informed, educated the ummah regarding pride, jealousy, killing, etc. He came and he drove away all these type of illnesses from the society, and he made such an ilaj, treatment and cure for the ummah that ignorance was removed and knowledge came about. That nation that was unlettered became most knowledgeable. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says regarding himself, "Allamani Rabbi fa ahsana ta'limi." My Allah taught me, and He taught me perfectly, profoundly, completely, perfectly. وَأَدَّبَنِي رَبِّي فَأَحْسَنَ تَأْدِيبِي. And my Allah taught me adab and respect, culture, morals, etiquettes, and He done a good job. So we have to take into consideration adab and respect. A Sahabi went into the court of the king, one of those kings there, and as he went on in, there was silk laid out on the floor, and as he went, the horse trampled upon it, and he with his asa started moving, etc. And then he took his horse and he fastened it to the throne of the king. And the king was there and he was sitting there. And he said, at that point as well, he said, people asked him, what are you doing and what's happening? And he said, Nahana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam an lubsid dibaj wal harir. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam prohibited us from this silk, etc. So we need to bring about the love for the deen in our hearts, the ta'aleem and the adab of it as well, the external and the internal. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, Hazrat Wala then goes on to say that he was teaching us the hadith At-Tahuru Shatrul Iman, and he was remarking and giving his discourse on this particular hadith, and he went on to say that the dunya doesn't even know what is taharat and cleanliness. Under the explanation of this hadith, At-Tahuru Shatrul Iman, that cleanliness is half of your deen, half of your faith, half of your iman. So, was it just the outward, the bodily taharat that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought? No, it was the taharat of the heart as well. The ta'aleem was complete. Do not keep a grudge, hatred, malice in your heart. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is so wonderful. He says, Ya bunayya, O my beloved son, if you can help it, to make morning and make evening in such a way that there is no malice, hatred in your heart towards anyone, then do so, because that is my sunnah. Allahu Akbar. Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, before putting any hadith in his compilation, the Sahih al-Bukhari, he would always carry out ghusl. And ghusl is for external purification. And thereafter he would read salat. And that was for internal purification. You know, I said this in Nadwa as well. Maulana Taqiyuddin and them were there. They enjoyed it. They were elated when they heard this year. So Zahiri Taharat as well, by means of wudu and ghusl. And if you want batini taharat, then go and excel and exert yourself in salat. There is a lot of barakat in this ta'aleem. You know, a Misri alim says, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to quote, and he used to say that what did you find in the tahzeeb and tamaddun, in the culture and in the way of others, that you adopted their way of life and you abandoned the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What did you find in their culture? Hazrat Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to become elated in a great form of ecstasy, spiritual. Whether that alim was Misri alim or Shami alim, he loved this type of articles and mazmoons. So we have to rid ourselves and our insides of jealousy and pride. So just your wudu and your ghusl is not sufficient, but we must make an effort for internal and spiritual purification as well. Listen, we made a little bit of effort. We got the water ready, and zahiri and external apparent purification was achieved. And if we make an effort also, then internal purification will be achieved. See, we all made ghusl now and came. Allah Ta'ala made it easy for us. The deen has been made easy for us. There was asbab and means. Similarly, if a person makes an effort to purify his soul, his ruh, his heart, then it would most definitely be purified. Allah has made the deen easy. It is written in the kitabs that one is istita'at mumakkana and the other one is istita'at muyassara. Istita'at mumakkana is that which every person possesses. Every soul and individual possesses that amount of capability and capacity that he can stay away from outward sins and inward sins, zahiri sins and batini sins as well. Listen, you do not have to go into the jungle in this condition while you are with your wives and children and going to work, etc. This can be achieved. So every person has this capacity in him. On one occasion, Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Ahmad Sahab, we went with him to Jawanpur. It was absolutely bitterly cold. And then people brought about coal, and then they ignited that coal, and in a short while it started giving us heat and then light as well. And then he looked at us, and in a very ajib and khas andaz way, he lectured all those that were present there, ulama as well, and he said, see, apparently we think that coal is useless, but some harkat was made, we put some things into motion and in being, and then we enjoyed a flame, light, heat as well. If this is the case with something just like coal, then did Allah Ta'ala did He not give capacity to the heart of insan? Yes, most definitely He did give. Yes, we need to make an effort on it. So one is that capability and capacity which each person has within himself. And the second one that I explained to you, the terminology, istita'at muyassara, that capability and capacity which makes it easy for us, and that is the suhbat of salihin. So if the coal, some type of harkat and movement is given there, and it can produce so much, how much more cannot the heart of insan and man produce if that heart of his is put into harkat and into movement? Hazrat Maulana Abdul Ghani used to make a wonderful kalam, an explanation on the ayat of the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqeen. O people of Iman, fear Allah and adopt the companionship of the pious. And he would say this is a 2-point prescription. The fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if you want to achieve taqwa and the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need to adopt the companionship of the pious. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam came in the era of jahiliyat and ignorance. Such type of things were carried out that are unbelievable, absolutely unconscious even of themselves and not bothered and a don't care attitude that they would actually roam around nakedly, thinking nothing about it. When Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam came, all this was rectified. This month that we are passing through is a great month. لهذا الشهر في الإسلام فضل ربيع في ربيع في ربيع. In this month in Islam holds a great privilege and virtue. It is spring upon spring upon spring. So much of nur, barakat, lustre, blooming, blossoming. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was born in this month. So when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and he brought his ta'aleem, then all jahiliyat was removed and alimiyat came about. Knowledge came about. Bad khulqi, abhorrent character, was removed and erased, and husn khulq was introduced. Himself, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Bu'ithtu mu'alliman," I have been sent as a teacher. He came with this ta'aleem. He came with this ilm. Allah Ta'ala starts off His Kalam-e-Pak with the words of knowledge and education. Read, Iqra. Allah starts His Kalam off by those words. The ta'aleem has been perfected and completed, and the akhlaq has also been perfected and completed. Hazrat Allama Khaja Masoom, rahimahullah, would go on to advise the youth that, "O youth, what are you doing?" In fact, I say that what is happening to our youth, they don't even have the thought in their minds and they are committing sins, such sins. And it is the duty of the ulama to remind the youth, rather everyone. So Khaja Muhammad Masoom says that what is happening to you? You are in negligence, you are busy with stones, and you have forgotten about the gems, the diamonds and the jewels, and the clock is ticking and time is going. Allahu Akbar. When I went to Canada, Maulana Abdullah Kapodri was also there, and I was giving a bayan and I spoke about hasad and malice, pride, etc. And after that I was saying, I wonder what these people would think about it in this part of the world, this country, etc. In our countries we speak freely about these things. And I spoke to Maulana Abdullah Sahab and he's saying, Hazrat, you hit the nail exactly on the head. And people enjoyed it, and this is actually what we are involved in our society, and we needed to be told this. The need of these talks. The dua of Rasulullah sallallahu, the dua, beautiful dua. Allahumma tahhir qalbi an ghayrika. Oh Allah, purify my heart from all besides you. وَنَوِّرْ قَلْبِي بِنُورِ مَعْرِفَتِكَ, and illuminate my heart with the nur and the light of your recognition. When Hazrat Maulana Siddiq Sahib Bandwi asked Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib for advice, Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib made talqeen of this particular dua. Read this dua: Allahumma tahhir qalbi an ghayrika wa nawwir qalbi bi nuri ma'rifatika. So, dua for it as well. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I was saying that he was commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Qul, say, O Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell the people, in kuntum tuhibbun Allah, if you love Allah, fattabi'uni, follow me. And then Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahib used to add in the tafsir of this, yani fi sunan zahira wal batina, follow me in all your external sunnats and internal sunnats as well. These talks need to come to the mimbar. We need to speak about this. If we forget about these things, all of this deen will become gone and forgotten. Nasyam mansiya. That's why we have to keep on speaking about this. The author of Durrul Mukhtar writes, like how knowledge for salat is compulsory, for siyam is compulsory. Similarly, batin, the knowledge of the batin, is also farz. Nevertheless, in short, I said these few words. Now let us make dua. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Maulana Muhammad. Allahumma tahhir qalbi an ghayrik wa nawwir qalbi bi nuri ma'rifatik. اللهم إنا نسألك التوفيق لمحابك من الأعمال وصدق التوكل عليك وحسن الظن بك. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.